Hello, Duke fans. Happy Monday, and welcome in to the Duke Blue Devils Insider Podcast, your daily scoop on everything Duke Blue Devils athletics, coming at you every single day. My name is Hugh Strain, your daily host, as well as beat writer at Duke Blue Devils on SI. Just like always, we thank you so much for tuning in today and every day, getting your latest on the Duke Blue Devils. Duke basketball improved to 20-1 on the season and 9-0 in league play if you watched yesterday's show, with a 72-58 victory over Virginia Tech on the road. Go check out yesterday's show for a breakdown of that game. Duke up by 9 against Virginia Tech at the half, taking a 40-31 lead. Virginia Tech made a push and kind of kept it within striking distance for the majority of the second half. Duke outscored the Hokies 10-2 in the final 6 minutes to seal a 14-point victory. Duke has now won 6 of its last 7 games by double-digit points, has won 3 of its last 4 by over 20 points. Another Quadrant 1 victory for the Blue Devils as Duke continues to cement potentially the best resume in the entire sport this season. Duke's still at number 2 in the net rankings after that win, now 9-1 in Quad 1, 13-1 across the first 2 quadrants, obviously 7-0 against Quad 3 and 4, and 7-0 in true road games. The only other school that is 7-0 in true road games this season is UConn, which is ranked number 6 in the net, but also a team generally viewed as a probable 1 seed in the NCAA tournament at this point. Interestingly, in the net, Michigan and Arizona swapped. Michigan's 20-1, Arizona is 22-0. Both teams got win over the weekend, but Michigan is now number 1 in the net. Again, Duke remained at number 2. Arizona drops to number 3 in the net despite a 22-0 record. Duke and Arizona, the only teams in the country with at least 9 Quadrant 1 wins. Michigan over with 8, and then there's no other team with more than 6. So in terms of pure resume, kind of feels like Duke, Arizona, and Michigan are at the top, and then it's kind of the rest. Interestingly, if you've read at si.com/college/Duke over the past week, you've seen that Duke is sort of flying under the radar as a true perennial national title contender, interestingly enough, despite boasting potentially the best overall body of work in the entire sport. So, like we just mentioned, Duke now 9-1 in Quadrant 1, second in the net, firmly a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament at this point. It was a tough road environment in Blacksburg that Duke was able to come in really without much issue at all. It did look like Duke was going to run away with it in the first 15 minutes of the game. Then Virginia Tech kept it close, but it was a great environment for the Hokies out there, and a tough road environment for Duke to play in. Duke was dealing with some illness. Caleb Foster and Dame Sarr both suited up, but both were reported as dealing with a sickness the day before the game. Caleb Foster came off the bench for the first time this season, was absolutely phenomenal. 7 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists for the junior guard. John Shire gave Foster a bit of praise after the game for battling through that sickness, which is never easy. So let's take a look at where Duke is for the remainder of the season. We've gone over their resume so far and what they've done in ACC action to begin league play. Again, Duke went 19-1 in league play a season ago en route to earning a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament and making it all the way to the Final Four. It's a vastly improved ACC this time around. And it really didn't feel like Duke was going to be able to get out to a wild record. And here it is at 9-0 with really minimal issues it's dealt with. And it's starting to get difficult to see what team is going to beat Duke with their remaining games. So as the net rankings currently stand, again, the net rankings are constantly changing. So this number will change and go back and forth quite a bit. But as the net rankings currently stand, Duke has 5 remaining Quadrant 1 games on the schedule. 2 of those will be at North Carolina and at home against North Carolina, obviously, in the best rivalry in college basketball. UNC currently at 17-4 on the season and 5-3 in conference play. Tar Heels picked up a victory over Georgia Tech on Saturday, 91-75. To improve their league record to 5-3. So 2 of those games will be against the Heels in the best matchup college basketball has to offer. In league play, there will be 2 more Quad 1 victories opportunities for Duke at home against Virginia, which is arguably the second best team in the ACC. It's probably either Virginia or Clemson to most people. 18-3 overall, 7-2 in league play are the Cavaliers in year 1 under Ryan Odom. That game will come at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Another opportunity in league play, the fourth one there, will be at NC State on the road. That's very towards the end of the season. NC State currently at 16-6 overall, 7-2 in the league, won 6 of its last 7 games. And early on in the season, it looked like NC State was going to be one of the bigger disappointments in all of college basketball in year one under Will Wade. They have started to improve. They won 4 straight, which includes a win at Clemson. Again, Clemson also could be the second best team in the ACC. They're 18-4 and 8-1 in league play. That lone loss to the Wolfpack. NC State picked up a big win over Wake Forest over the weekend, taking the Demon Deacons down 96-78. So those are the 4 league games that Duke will have that are going to be considered quad 1 games as the net rankings currently stand. The out of league game that Duke will prepare for in February is potentially the best game college basketball has to offer all season long. It will be on February 21st at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. against the Michigan Wolverines. So potentially the top 2 teams in the net, arguably the best 2 teams in college basketball, will face off on a neutral floor in late February at Capital One Arena. Arguably the 2 best teams, also arguably the 2 best players in the sport. Cameron Boozer is far and away the best player in college basketball. That is clear, no debate. I don't understand how anyone can make a debate over that at this point in the season. Boozer against Virginia Tech, for anyone who forgot, went for a game-high 24 to go along with 8 boards, 5 assists. He hasn't shot 50% once in league play so far. He's been dominant. He's the National Player of the Year. It isn't close. The second best player in the country could be Michigan's Yaxel Lendeborg, the number 1 overall player in the transfer portal, came over from UAB, averaging just under 15 points, leading the Wolverines, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.3 blocks, 50% shooting from the field, 85% from the free throw line. Lendeborg and Boozer will probably be each other's primary assignment in that game. It will be, the best game college basketball will have to offer, probably the best one-on-one matchup the sport has to offer. I'd argue maybe Boozer versus Caleb Wilson might be a better matchup, which we'll also get to see twice. But Boozer versus Lendeborg is probably a matchup between the top 2 players of the sport, and the 2 play very similar positions and pretty similar styles for the most part. Lendeborg's probably a better pure athlete than Cameron Boozer, but both are obviously terrific players. So that is the Blue Devils' 5th quadrant 1 opportunity remaining on the schedule as the net rankings currently stand. Duke, a loss there wouldn't really hurt Duke much. Maybe would put them on the cusp of a 1 seed, but Michigan is, again, number 1 in the net, probably the best team in the country to a lot of people. And a loss, especially a tight loss to Michigan, wouldn't do very much damage at all. I think Duke would still probably firmly be on the 1 seed line with a tight loss to Michigan. And to me right now, Duke and Michigan are 2 of the top 3 teams in college basketball. You got to throw Arizona in there somewhere. But Michigan is, according to KenPom, the best defensive team in college basketball right now. So much size on the perimeter, so much depth. Duke also pretty heavily favored in those computer numbers as well. They're 3rd at KenPom overall. The Blue Devils are 4th in both adjusted offensive efficiency and adjusted defensive efficiency. Only Arizona is also top 5 in both of those metrics. After a bit of a shaky beginning of conference play for Duke, in terms of its defense, it has really, really stepped up as of late. Duke has been fantastic on the defensive side of the ball, limiting Virginia Tech just over 40% shooting from the field and 7 of 26 from the free throw line. Duke getting into the paint with intent, outscored the Hokies 46-24 in the paint on Saturday, as well as grabbing 12 offensive rebounds of their own. So that's what we came here to do today on your Monday episode of the Duke Blue Devils Insider Podcast. Take a look at this remaining schedule for Duke. Again, we'll go over the remaining schedule in full to give you guys a bit of an idea, but those aforementioned games are the 5 remaining quad 1 opportunities as the net rankings currently stand. So Duke will take on Boston College next. Boston College, not only one of the weakest teams in the ACC, but arguably the weakest team in all of Power Conference basketball. Eagles are 9-12 overall, 2-6 in ACC play. Have really struggled getting crowds at their games in general. Just a very weak team, a team that, Duke will probably will win pretty handily. It's at Durham. Can't imagine as much of a ball game at all. And then after that will be the first edition of the best rivalry in college basketball between Duke and North Carolina on February 7th in Chapel Hill. Caleb Wilson versus Cameron Boozer. We just went over it. Going to get to see that twice. Caleb Wilson, an electric athlete, a double-double machine. Like we mentioned, Cameron Boozer, the best player in college basketball, will be an elite matchup. That is coming next Saturday, or I guess this coming Saturday. That is going to do it for us here today at the Duke Blue Devils Insider Podcast. Once again, we thank you so much for tuning in and getting your latest scoop on all things Duke Blue Devils news. My name is Hugh Strain, your daily host, as well as beat writer at Duke Blue Devils on SI. Make sure to check us out every single day at si.com/college/Duke to get everything the latest on Duke Blue Devils news. My name is Hugh Strain, and I'll see you tomorrow.